Hey, what's up everybody? It's Mr. Ninja GFX here bringing to you another speed art video. This one is actually going to be for Kosdff TK. For anybody that doesn't know who Kosdff is, he's actually the CEO or co-owner anyway of Team Caliber, the esports team and organization. Great team, by the way. I've met with those guys numerous times at LAN events, and I've also met Kosdff several times at LAN events. And he's also a really good YouTuber. If you have not watched any of his videos or anything, I will definitely make sure that I put an annotation somewhere on the screen so you can actually go check it out, as well as add his information into the details of the video. How I actually ended up going about on getting a painting and actually doing the speed art for Kosdff himself. I actually had a boarded TK, who is actually Kosdff's illustrator and designer, actually reach out to me, and I actually did a speed art video for him, which I'll put annotation somewhere on the screen and link below on that video. I actually ended up doing a painting for him and a speed art, and he actually ended up talking to me about doing a painting and everything for Kosdff, and I ended up reaching out and was asking if it would be okay as well if I ended up doing a speed art, and he said sure. So here we are with the video now, and I want to give a big shout out, thanks again to Aborted and Kosdff for the opportunity to do this for him. So if you have not watched the other video that I ended up doing before, I did end up listening to some of the comments and stuff that ended up getting sent to me by Twitter, that to cut back on the commentary and have just more music playing. So I did listen. So I'm not going to be doing as much commentary throughout the entire video as the other one did, and I'll have a lot more music just kind of playing. So how the actual painting is actually set up. So as you just saw on the screen, it starts off as a logo or drawing of some sort of whatever I'm going to want to actually make into a stamp, which that's what the pink stamp block is there. So what I ended up doing was tracing the actual logo onto tracing paper, flipping that transfer paper onto the actual stamp block so it's backwards, the design is backwards, and then what I'm doing right now is I'm actually carving into the actual block itself. I start around the outside of the logo with a wider and deeper scraper onto it, so then whenever I put the ink on it, after I go back in with the finer details and a smaller scraper, I will apply ink to it. What will happen is whenever you apply the ink and you smooth it out to where it's flat, it will get into the crevices on any of the carvings that you ended up doing, and anything that's a higher elevation, it'll actually apply the ink to it, and everywhere else that's carved out and is lower, it will not keep the ink settled. So whenever you transfer it over to it, it'll keep just whatever is at a higher level of the actual carving. So what I'm doing right now is I just finished off the outside of the actual stamp itself, and now I'm going over the smaller scraper, doing all the smaller details, and I'm also going around the outside to see if there's any additional things that maybe still a little bit higher of an elevation that I need to still level out a little bit. After I'm done with that, I will be adding the ink to it. As I was saying before, and any of the higher raised areas will hold the ink, and anything that's a little bit lower will not. And I will, after doing some test samples of trying it out to see exactly how the transfer works, I will then try the transfer onto a blank canvas, which is where everything starts off from. After I'm done with the actual blank canvas itself, I will start then working on the logo in the middle by adding in all the individual colors and making it be a replica of Kosdff's actual logo. As I said in my other video that ended up doing the speed art for Aborted, I highly recommend, if you are going to be doing any of these stamp designs or paintings, always start with the actual background first before the foreground or the logo that's going to be in the middle. As you'll see towards the end and middle of my actual painting, there was a lot of touch-ups that I had to do along the way, just because of paint splatter or transfer that went onto the logo whenever I was doing the background after the fact. So I highly recommend you actually doing the background first before the foreground of the logo. It's just a rule of thumb to kind of go by. With this one, as I said before, I unfortunately ended up doing it kind of backwards. But overall, the actual painting actually turned out phenomenally better than what actually I was expecting it to. So after I ended up doing the logo, as I said, with this in particular painting, afterward I ended up going into the background. I ended up sticking with a lot of blues. Actually, I think when I say a lot of blues, I mean like 7 different variations of blue that I ended up doing for like a swirl design in the background, and then I ended up smoothing it out and blending it a lot better with actually my fingers and a wet paintbrush to make it blend a lot easier. And then after I was done with doing that, I ended up going back in, doing some additional touch-ups on Kosdff's logo, and then I ended up wasn't quite happy with the blank areas, so I ended up shooting some pictures and stuff over to a board and asked his personal opinion, and he ended up saying that he agreed with me that the background was a little plain, more or less. So I ended up coming up with the idea to actually add some TK logos, or Team Caliber logos, throughout the background, and having them at different angles so it looks like it's swirling around Kosdff's actual logo in the middle. And then I ended up, after that, still wasn't quite happy on how it was looking, so then I went back over it again, the last time actually, with a splatter. It was a light splatter that I ended up doing across the entire painting. As I was stating before, with the painting itself on how you should always go from background to foreground or logo in the middle, when I was doing the splatter, I ended up having a lot of splatter that actually went over top of Kosdff's logo itself, which was an absolute disaster. And honestly, at that point in time, really thought that I completely ruined the painting. But after I ended up dabbing it a little bit and trying to get up some of the actual ink that ended up splattering onto the logo, I did luckily come to find out that it wasn't as bad as I thought. Did need a little additional touch-ups that I needed to do, and it actually ended up turning out great. Ended up sending some pictures over to Aborted and to Kosdff, and he absolutely loves it. I am still waiting to get the P.O. box for the TK house, so then I can actually send that over to Kosdff, so it's actually sitting still next to me. But again, I am extremely ecstatic about how the painting itself turned out, and if you want your own, towards the end of the actual video, I'll have all the information and stuff, as well as in the description below, on how you can get one for yourself. Not necessarily a Kosdff one, because that was a custom one for him, but if you would like one for your own team, organization, one for you individually, feel free to reach out to me by social media or on my website, and we can actually work out on getting one made. Because I really enjoy actually doing these paintings and speed arts for you guys. So again, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let the rest of it play out, which looks like we're about halfway through process right now. With the carving, we did the transfer. Now we're going to be doing all the coloring, which is going to be going to 800 multiply for the speed. So I'll let the rest of the video play out and let you enjoy the music, guys. And again, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you guys enjoy it. And I do read all the comments and stuff, and I do appreciate everybody that comes out to watch the videos. So please make sure that you end up doing those for me. And thanks again, guys, for stopping by. Thank you all for watching, and a big shout out over to G Fuel for helping fuel this entire painting and speed art process. Aborted TK for actually reaching out and getting me to have the opportunity to make this painting. Nikon camera for actually helping me out with the recording process of my Nikon camera, and Team Caliber for just being fantastic and extremely supportive during the entire process of the actual speed art. Thank you again, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe.